What is up, guys? This is Mateo's 2020 Politics here, and today I'm going to be talking about the results of Super Tuesday. This happened 3 days ago, but I was kind of waiting for the full results to come in because, as we all know, when a primary or caucus occurs, it begins voting at night, the vote doesn't really fully get in until the next day, sometimes the next 2 days. And California's vote and Colorado's vote aren't fully in yet, but I'll just make the video anyway because it's kind of, time is passing and it's been a while, just a few days after Super Tuesday. So I don't want to just wait to make a video just because of Carolina, no, just because of California and Colorado. I'll just make the video anyway. So this was a good night for Joe Biden. Joe Biden won Alabama with 63% of the vote, Arkansas with 40% of the vote, Maine, 34% of the vote, Massachusetts, 34% of the vote, Minnesota, 39% of the vote, pretty narrow, North Carolina, 43% of the vote, Oklahoma, 39% of the vote, Tennessee, 43%, Texas, 43%, and Virginia, 53%. Sorry, Texas was 35%. Bernie Sanders wins California 33% of the vote, but the full vote is actually pending. That isn't fully in. It was just at 93%. The vote was 93% in, but now when I just checked, it said 50.1%. So I don't know. Maybe they're doing a recount. But either way, Bernie is still in a pretty large lead, considering that Biden is like in the early 20s, and Bernie's at 33%. Colorado, Bernie wins with 37% of the vote. Utah, he wins with 35% of the vote, but the full vote is still pending. And Vermont, he wins with 51% of the vote. And of course, Michael Bloomberg won an island, a series of islands, literally American Samoa, with 50% of the vote. He beat Tulsi Gabbard there, and that was the place where Tulsi Gabbard was born, but she's still in the race. And Elizabeth Warren and Tulsi Gabbard got no states. So people were surprised because everybody was thinking that Bernie would just dominate Super Tuesday, but what happened is that the polls really showed he would dominate, but after South Carolina, after Joe Biden won that pretty handedly, he got some momentum. He started going up in the polls, and people didn't notice, but for the last 2 days before Super Tuesday, the polls actually began to narrow. And Bernie was still in the lead with the majority of Super Tuesday states, but it had narrowed. And we all know that polls take a few days to make, sometimes even a week or so. So they're a bit behind. So let's say Joe Biden is just on blast-off mode. He's trending upwards. He's at 27%. That's the new poll. So 27%. In reality, it could be at 30% because, again, it takes a week to make a poll. So they're always a bit behind. So in reality, when it showed Joe Biden narrowly behind Bernie, it was probably more like a tie, or Joe Biden was already ahead. That's the first reason why it was actually a blowout victory for Joe Biden, which was pretty unexpected. And reason number two is I don't know why people didn't catch this. I guess it's just me that caught this, but right before Super Tuesday, Pete Buttigieg dropped out, and then after that, Amy Klobuchar. And I have no doubt that their votes went straight to Joe Biden and helped him in Super Tuesday. Because Amy Klobuchar was leading in Minnesota, then she dropped out. Bernie was leading, Joe Biden wins it because he got Amy Klobuchar's votes. Same thing in Maine, Massachusetts. These were all states that Bernie was predicted to win, but he lost on Super Tuesday because the centrist candidates dropped out right before then, and their votes added up with Joe Biden, and it definitely helped them. And once again, these mainstream news media sources didn't have enough time to create a poll between the events of Klobuchar and Buttigieg dropping out and Super Tuesday itself. So Buttigieg's and Klobuchar's support definitely went right to Joe Biden and helped him on Super Tuesday because we thought he would win the South narrowly. He won it by pretty large margins. We thought Bernie Sanders would win Texas. Joe Biden won it. Same thing happened in Massachusetts, Maine, and Minnesota because the centrist votes add up. Not so much Amy Klobuchar's because her support was somewhat minor, but Pete Buttigieg's support was actually pretty significant. It was at 14%, so it definitely helped Biden. And so that's the explanation you need. Really, people were confused on why Joe Biden did so well unexpectedly. That's because of the two centrists dropping out, the main centrists of the race dropping out, and endorsing Joe Biden and their support going to him last minute, so it definitely helped him. Now, Elizabeth Warren has dropped out. So is Michael Bloomberg. So I will make a video on them dropping out soon. I want to make it today, but I hope everyone doesn't heat up. It keeps heating up. It has like a fever. After I make a video, it just gets really hot. So, yeah, Joe Biden wins 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 states. 10 states. Bernie wins 4. Michael Bloomberg wins an island, and Warren gets no states. So those were the results of Super Tuesday. Once again, I claimed that Joe Biden did so well unexpectedly, because the centrists dropped out right before Super Tuesday, and they had lots of support, and then Joe Biden, their support went right to him, and it helped him last minute. There could be an argument to be made that Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders split the vote in many states, and it caused Joe Biden to win. But in reality, Bernie Sanders was actually leading in many states, but he ended up losing them because of Joe Biden gaining lots of support last minute. So, see you guys later, and bye. Actually, no, not goodbye. I want to talk about the demographics a bit. So, we see that in 2016, Bernie Sanders won lots of northwestern states. This includes, like, I'd say Kansas, Utah. What's right next to Utah? Colorado. Those 3 states and above, Bernie tends to win. Not including California, but this time around, Bernie Sanders actually won California. He does very well in the Northwest and the Northeast because there's lots of progressives there. The establishment tends to do well in the Deep South. That's kind of interesting. So it wasn't really surprised that Joe Biden won the Deep South. He did once again get some northeastern states because of the centrist support going to him last minute. He won Minnesota. I think Bernie won that last time. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe Bernie won that last time. So going into the future of this race, we will probably see Bernie Sanders win lots of northeastern states, lots of northwestern states, and Joe Biden winning lots of deep southern states, as well as the it's funny when people say the South, they refer to the Southeast, like Texas, and then to the east. They don't actually they're not referring to New Mexico, Arizona, or California. But Joe Biden does win the North, the Southwest, the establishment, and Joe Biden this time, because he's part of the establishment, guys, he will probably win much of the Southwest, Southeast, just straight up South, basically. And Bernie will probably win one of the more northern areas of the United States. So thank you for watching this video, guys. Joe Biden wins Alabama, Arkansas, Maine, Massachusetts, Minnesota, North Carolina, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Texas, Virginia. Bernie Sanders wins California, Colorado, Utah, and Vermont. And Michael Bloomberg wins American Samoa, a series of islands. So see you guys later, and bye.